You want to mean I've been silent for all that time? Yeah. I've been talking to myself. So I'll have to redo all that. Okay. Apologies for that. Hi. Now it seems I have to start afresh. I'm realizing my audio was silent right now. And no one is even commenting. Those that are joining are welcome. You can consider subscribing to this channel and you can also consider watching this live. Apologies for that. I didn't know my audio. I think I didn't check that. I didn't realize my audio was silent and no one was telling me I'm talking to myself. So now I'll have to start all over again. I was looking at the advantages of farming. Sorry for that. I was looking at the advantages of farming and I was giving you my personal experience when it came to farming. So I was saying in my undergraduate or in my studies journey, I did not do any agriculture course because in high school I did French and business, and then in campus I did business and IT. So you can see I've never been in a agriculture class, but if you watch my videos that I have tried to do in my farm is really doing well and I thank God. And I was telling you, you do not have to have that basics of the agriculture classes. You can entirely learn from these online platforms that have been provided for us for that and learning purposes. So I was saying, for me, when I began, what gave me that motivation to begin farming, it's when I did my degree, and after I was done, I realized there is a lot of finding a job is a lot of struggle. And I was like, now let me try and do let me take a portion of the land and try. I was trying. Let me first of all see how this farming will take me. Or will I, at the end of the day, will I get the profit or will I get the loss? You know, people even have come up with the mentality of you can never make a profit in farming unless you're doing it in large scale. For me, I have witnessed that is not true, because when I was starting, I also had that mentality of farming does not really have that much of profit, you will only get that profit if you do it in a large scale farming. So I was like, no, I don't want to mess up all this. Let me first of all try a small portion and see how it will progress. If it does well, then it's something maybe I can consider, or it's something that I can try. If it doesn't do well, then I will have to figure out of other mechanisms or other ways of earning money. And when I started farming, thank you for those that are joining. You can consider subscribing to this channel. When I started farming, I started by a small portion where I did plant watermelons. And let me tell you guys, I didn't even invest a lot of capital. I think how much would I have say how much would I say I invested? I didn't even invest more than 3,000 shillings. But you see, I didn't calculate. So if I tell you the exact amount, I'll be lying to you. And when I started with that portion, I said, let me try and do watermelons. I began farming by trying to do watermelons. They are the first things that I planted personally. When I planted watermelons, it happened there was a shortage of watermelons in the market. And the kg, I think we were selling a kg at 100, even 100 shillings. So you can imagine that by then the watermelon, for me, I sold it to a company. I happened to get a deal with a company that processes some juice, the one that will sell us some juice. And I sold a kg of watermelon at 100 shillings, since there was scarcity in the field, and these people also want to produce these juices. So when I sold my kg at 100 bob, I'll not lie to you, I got some good money from that farm, from that harvest. And I was like, wow, this is nice. You want to mean these people are making this good money? And that is what interested me in knowing about in doing this agriculture. And I was like, now I don't have this knowledge. You see, when I planted those watermelons, I entirely learned from YouTube. I would come to YouTube, see how get the requirements. For me, I was not even much interested to seeing people plant it in their farm. No, the only thing that I came to take from YouTube, I wanted to know what are the climatic conditions that are required? What is the type of soil that I should take? What is the required soil pH? When is the appropriate climate for me to grow this type of a crop? That is what brought me entirely to YouTube. The rest of the things, how you're doing it, I didn't even want to know. I wanted to know what is the spacing that I should observe. Should I grow it in rows? Should That is what brought me to YouTube. And once I came here, I'm telling you, my life has never been the same again. And since I benefited a lot from that learning from YouTube, I was like, once I try this agriculture and once I try this farming and it becomes successful, indeed, I'll really have to also give back. So for me, my channel, I'm doing it to give back to other people that would like to also practice farming, so that you will learn what can I do and what are the requirements and what is the starting base. Where can I start from? Please, if you're there and you're at a point like I'm giving up in life, finances are not working for me, and I'm not doing so well as I would love to be doing, do not even be stressed. Even if you're working, if you have that job that you're doing during the day, or I don't know what time you're going to work, imagine you can start farming, and you do not even have to require to have that big land for you to start farming. You can start farming outside. If you have a small space outside your house, that is a very that space is enough for you to do an entire farming that you will harvest, sell, and make some extra income. If you're depending on that, imagine you will use that food that you will harvest from your farm, or from the small place that you will have improvised to become your farm. You will use that food to even feed your family. Do you know, purchasing these things in the market, they are really going at a very high price. Like yesterday, I passed by the market and they are selling three maize, and they're not even that big. Three maize at 300, at 50 shillings. And I was like, three. And imagine, it is even now, that is where these other sellers go and buy the maize, three green maize at 50 shillings. When they get, by the time they are getting to where we live, now they were buying direct from the farm, three maize at 50 shillings. By the time it gets to us, and by the time that man there decides to even roast for us that maize or the corn, you find you're buying a small piece, half of the maize at 20 shillings. One maize, but it means one maize will be going at 40 shillings. By the time you're deciding to buy a maize, one corn like this, one corn to cook githeri, they will be selling that at 30 shillings. Imagine now you did that farming, and by the time you plant in one hole, you'll maybe plant two seeds, and those two seeds will sprout to become two maize plants. Those two maize plants will produce two maize cobs, because the one that you'll get will not have done well. It will maybe be having one maize cob. By the time it is having that one maize cob, it means you only planted one seed, you have one maize cob, and you will really sell a lot. So for me, when people say they are experiencing some losses in their farming, I really try to think about it and try and learn, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better? So that my farm will get to the point that I want. So back to the main point. For me, I came here to learn, and that is when I started growing the watermelons. And once I harvested and realized, wow, this is good money, I took myself to a very fancy hotel. Nikajiambia wacha nirudishie mwili shukurani. And then now I can think. And from that harvest is now when I started. Now it gave me capital to do a larger scale of farming. It's when I did maize, I tried beans. I've tried so many crops in my farm, and they are, and even currently the crop that I've grown in the farm is really doing well. It's really doing great. That is why I was saying, if you have that passion, if you're struggling with your finances, just imagine that farming is one of those avenues that you can consider trying, so that you will see what really can it benefit me. And for me as a farmer, I'll advise you, go first of all, learn and do study study of where your farm is. If you do not have a farm, I've said, if you have an open kitchen space just outside where you live in, people have improvised, or people have come up with these container mechanisms that they are using to imagine. I wish I could show you one. A container, they have improvised some containers that you grow, can hold a very large amount of crops. You will harvest and you will be like, wait, even people that have farms are not doing well as I'm doing. And you know, that is not even something you'll have to take care of each and every day. You don't have to go to the farm to struggle each and every day. If you're depending on the rains will rain. If you're depending on irrigation, you can try drip irrigation, whereby you connect the pipes to your farm, you just open the tap and let water run for some time, then close the tap. And you don't have to really struggle. I believe farming is the easiest thing to do. If I tell you I'm struggling even with YouTube compared to the way I'm struggling in the farm, you will not believe. It's a lot of work. Purposely, I'm doing YouTube to help someone the way I was helped, and to come and open my mind that I do not even have to struggle learning or doing what I did in my degree or what I did in my studies. There are other avenues that are people are making some good money, mm, that even you didn't have knowledge about. So that is why I was like, I have to give back. The way I was given, whatever I was given, whatever I took, is really what helped me. So before you can even think of a farming, you have to start off all by looking at what are the conditions that are in my soil. Do your soil study first. The first thing, know what is your soil pH. Know what is the fertility level of your soil. Know which type of soil is in your farm. Which type of crops will be favorable in this type of a soil. What is the climatic condition of the place that I'm planning to do this farming? That is all that you need to know. This other mentality and the thought of, I have to see someone you do it, how are they doing it, let me copy it to my farm. No, that is not even necessary. The only thing someone will give you is the climatic requirements, the soil requirements, the spacing, and that's all. From there, as a farmer, you will be able to pick up and continue with the journey of farming. Up to there, are we okay? I want to give you a basics of what you can do or what you can look at, so that when I tell you the advantages, once you go to the farm, you will be like, indeed, this I can now be able. You cannot trace the advantage. You will never see the advantage of farming if you're missing out on some things. For example, if you're missing out on soil fertility, or if you're missing out on your soil pH, or if you're missing out on the climate, which type of climate favors which type of crop, it means then you will never get the advantages of farming. You'll always suffer the losses, and you'll be like, farming doesn't have this money, and I do not have to invest in farming since I'm not getting those profits, or since farming is not doing as I expect. So do you know, even as a person, or do you know, even as you see it individually, there are so many crops that people are growing that yourself you don't even know exist. There's this one thing for me, where I was brought up, we always plant maize and beans. So for the entire life I've lived, I know farming is all about maize and beans. Until when I started the farming journey is when I realized the soil that even we are planting that maize and beans, it's not even favorable for the maize and beans. There are other types of crops that I can grow in that soil, the same soil, and get a lot of profit without even having to do a lot of work, or without even having to think about this maize and beans, maize and beans, maize and beans. There are very many other crops that you do not know about, and there are many other crops that you can try to grow in your farm that maybe even your community do not know what is this. Can you give them, market your what you've planted, let people want to try and taste what is it. Once they realize what is that, imagine you'll have this market until you'll have even a shortage, and you'll be like, guy, where can I get some more other harvest to sell to these people, since the demand will be so high. You don't have to do the norms that the rest of the people are doing. No, be unique in your own way, plant uniquely, and let you do well. Pick the, do a crop rotation. For instance, in my channel, I've given you some requirements of growing various crops. If those are the climatic condition and that is the soil that is in your farm, just go and learn what are the requirements, what is the spacing that I need to take, what should I do. Try that crop in your farm and now try selling it to the market. Make sure you grow something that does not have that much the supply, not demand. Demand has to be there, but the supply, you can consider the supply. How many people are risking to plant to grow this crop? What is the supply? You know, people require a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, but they are really scarce to a point. They are like, where can I buy this type of a thing? Which farmer is growing this type of a crop? I really need it. They need it so urgently, but it's not available for them. So do your market study. That is where you begin. The people, you can even try an entire crop that people have never seen and take it yourself to the market. Go and market yourself. Let people purchase the crop that you've taken to the market, or the harvest that you've taken to the market. Do you know how many people buy out of curiosity? They want to know what is this. Like for instance, I've done a video of cantaloupe. That plant is not even planted where I live in. Even people don't know what it is. But the first moment I took that cantaloupe to the market, I did marketing myself. I was like, I will cut it and then I share. When someone tasted that, it's a fruit. When they tasted that cantaloupe, they were like, this is something that I need. This is very sweet. And they were like, let us do this. Let me try and taste. Let me buy. Let me take it to my family. Let them have this taste. I sold. At the end of the day, I went back with very few, very few. And I was like, guy, do you know these people even didn't know what this is? But the moment they tasted it, they were like, let me buy it and see what I can. Let me buy it and have a taste and let me know what is it. So out of curiosity, many people will buy something that they did not even intend to buy. So I hope you've understood something. Just find somewhere where you will learn. After you have found someone that is guiding you well on farming, now you can practice farming. And I'm very sure it will give you some good money. Any questions so far? Any questions? I now want to look at the advantages of farming. I want to look at the advantages of farming. I believe I've given you all the requirement basics that you need to know before you can even begin farming. If you do not follow that, be sure the advantages will not even help you. They'll not even be anything you'll relate to. So, having given you that basics, is there any question? I want now to start today's live, or I want to look at what we are supposed to look at in this live. Do you have any questions? I'll give you some 5 minutes. Maybe if there's any question, if there is none, we can proceed. Yes, I can see some questions are still coming in. Yeah, as I still give you some time, let's do this. We can, these are from the farm. I want to remove them so that as we wait for others to come, as I wait for some more questions. We can be removing this from the maize cob. Now imagine as a farmer, you don't have to buy maize. You just go to your farm and get the maize. Yeah, you can consider subscribing to this channel, guys. You can also like the live. Let us subscribe and let's like the live as we continue. I already see I have one question. If the others also ask their questions, let's do this. Those that have joined, how are you? Hi. Sorry for that network problem. Welcome to the channel. Welcome. You can consider subscribing and also liking the live. We have a short commercial break before we can continue with our topic. How are you? Thank you for joining. How are you doing? Hi, how are you? You can also consider subscribing. Let's like the live. Let us now continue. Let us continue with our live. Jibs, hi. I can see you said hi. One question, how can I do farming and I do not have a farm? The next comment is when the farmer decides to be working in the kitchen. Of course, you have to enjoy what you planted. So for me, I have to enjoy the maize. Now I have some green maize in the farm. So I was like, let me prepare githeri today. So I wanted it. That is also a benefit of doing farming. So that is what I was doing there. I was removing maize so that I can prepare githeri. So I want to take this one question so that we can continue now with the advantages of farming. Someone is asking, how can I do farming and I do not have a farm? If you do not have a farm and you do not have that space where you can do your farming, you can consider renting land. There are people that are willing to rent their land for you to farm. So it depends with the agreement that you will have with that person. You can decide to either rent it for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years. It depends. For one season, it's you that will make that decision of for how long do you want to rent that land. And let me tell you, you will start by renting. Within a very short time, you'll be having your own small piece of land. You will not even rent for long. You will not rent for a long time. You'll only rent for some few years, then you'll buy your own farm and you will start farming comfortably. But before you rent a space, also ensure that you have done the studies of climate, the the type of rains that they receive, soil pH, many things. You have to consider a lot of things before you decide this is the type of land that I want to rent. And imagine, do you know, once you start farming in that farm, the harvest, after you sell your harvest, you'll pay for the cost that it pays back. It pays back after you sell it pays back, and you'll be able to, as in, inakurudishia pesa kwa mfuko. The money that you had invested, you'll get it back. Any other questions before I proceed to the advantages of farming? Since there is no any other question, I want us to look at the advantages of farming. That is what I want us to look at right now. And I want the obvious to talk about the obvious ones as they are. I want to talk about the obvious ones last. I want to tell you some advantages that you even never knew existed. Anyone with an idea of one advantage that they might be thinking of? Anyone that can think of one advantage? Okay, maybe I'll start giving them to you. Do you know farming is a form of stress relieving? Farming is a source of stress relieving. If by the time now you're going to the farm, you are going there for therapy. For instance, do you know a lot is happening in life that you need some place for you to go and relax? You just need a peaceful place where you can go to and think straight without carrying a lot of life's baggage. Just need a space where you will go sit, relax, and feel relief. As it is, by the time you're going to a farm, you will really find peace that you never thought you would find. Just going and looking at those crops as they grow, you will really relieve some sort of stress. And once you go there, they keep you occupied. If you're doing farming, you'll not even have that time to think of other life challenges that you're having. You'll just be waking up, going to your farm. You'll have a routine that will help you evade outside life stress. So, farming is one thing that you can consider doing if you really look forward to stress relieving. If you're facing a lot of stress, you can consider doing farming. It will really help you in the process of relieving your stress. Please remember, depression medicines are really expensive to buy, and even that those therapies are really expensive. So the best thing that you can do is just start farming. Go there for the purpose of stress relief, and I'm very sure at the end of the day you will have saved a lot of finances, and it will also help you as a person. You feel comfortable and you feel happy about life and what life has to offer to you. Yeah, imagine you will see yourself succeed. That the thing, when you see yourself succeed, I know it will relieve some stress that you will be having. Again, so most of the stress that people are having, they're generally financial stress. So when you will be planning to plant various or to do farming, various farming in the farm, that will be a source where you will be going to relieve the stress as you get some more money. Money is good. When you see that money is when you will realize, guy, yeah, I'm doing so well. I don't even have to struggle. I don't have to struggle financially because I know at the end of the day I'll get some income from what I'm growing. Let me read the comments so that before I go to the next advantage. Someone is saying, how does it relieve stress? By focusing on it, that you don't need to have negative interactions. Do you know, when you go to the farm, there's this amazing feeling. I don't know. When you even listen at the wind blow and as your crops maybe sway, you it takes your mind off so many things that you'll be thinking about at the moment. You can try it, just go there and relax, and also it will help you to strategize. Even when you go there to think about the problems that you might be having, you might also find a way of figuring out a solution of those problems. So farming is a therapy. Farming is therapy itself, since it keeps you busy. You can try to think about life and about other things that you can do in your farm. And when you keep even when you keep your mind occupied, the probability of you having stress is really low, because you will be thinking of what you will be doing in the farm. You will find yourself stressed because at the moment you are idle is when you, at most of the time, is when you think about what is affecting you. Those that are facing financial stress, farming will help you reduce that because it will be your source of income. Those that are having other types of stress, you can tell yourself, let me go to the farm and not think about what is happening externally. Let me just go there purposely to relieve, to feel that nature, to have a connection with the nature. Nature relieves stress in a great way. So farming is one of its advantages is a stress reliever. For that I know. Makori says hi. Hi, how are you? I hope you're fine. So with that, I'll combine it with this factor of it is, I've told you, one, it is a stress reliever, two, it is a source of income. If you're at a point that you're feeling like money really now, and I'm now at a point when I need money to chase me. You money, I've chased you for so long, now it's your turn to chase me. You can consider doing farming. Farming will help you great because once you harvest, you will have some sales that you will make, and the sales will give you some good money. Thank you for those that are joining. We can consider subscribing and let us like this live, guys, as we proceed. Thank you for joining. So number three, advantage number three, it is that as a farming is a source of food. Can I put it that way? Yeah, it will save you some costs when you be thinking about buying food. Because do you know, by the time you're surviving, the most expensive thing that you invest your most of the money in is food. So it will save you that cash, and it will, you will just, if you need to eat something, go to the farm, take it, come and cook. Like for instance, I've been removing some maize. By the time James was saying from the family, a farmer in the kitchen, do you know, I didn't buy those maize. I just went and took the maize from the farm, came, and now I'm cooking githeri. So you see, my lunch is sorted, and that will be lunch and supper is sorted. So it will save you some cash, and you will also use it as a source of food. You'll be getting your family some food from your farm. You do not have to buy. Buying food is expensive. You just sit down and look at your budget, see how much you're budgeting for food. That is when you'll realize food is expensive and farming is cheaper. Taking it from the store is really cheaper compared to buying it. Yeah, let's continue. Anyone with something to say?